You're like, I better become a minister.
That was not, I didn't know that at the time.
You're listening to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast with Suzanne Sole, episode 60. Hello, oh delightful ones, and welcome to the Spiritual Shitshow podcast, where we get into the twisty-turny journey the healing and spiritual awakening journey can be. I'm your host, Suzanne Sole, comedian, lifelong spiritual student, and I'm sharing some of the guidance I've received along my journey that has helped me, that I hope helps you too. We're back for part 2 of my chitty chat with the lovely and talented Chicago-based New Thought minister, Rev Linda Jackson. Rev Linda serves as assistant minister at Cityside Spiritual Community in Chicago, where she gives Sunday talks, facilitates classes and workshops, as well as supports the community from behind the scenes. Linda became a minister of religious science and interfaith minister through Emerson Theological Institute, is licensed by Centers for Spiritual Living, and is a certified conscious leadership coach, clinical hypnotherapist, spiritual practitioner, and master prosperity teacher. Cool, right? In part 2, Linda continues sharing her story, her personal and spiritual journey, her path to ministry, and her vision for her ministry. I am so enjoying this conversation with Rev Linda. So let's get back into it, yo.
Then we're back to the drawing board, right? Coming back to find the peace, the love, the abundance, the harmony, all the things that I think of now as God qualities.
Right.
Finding those within, and then you are able to experience it out here.
Yeah, and the process was through the teachings, but also did you do any therapy, or were there letting go of some old stuff that was kind of the reason for the outsourcing and things like that?
Well, let's see. 20 years later, I did a lot of soul searching, heart emptying, and heart refilling. And I did a bunch of work with the Wellness Institute out of Issaquah, Washington, where I became a hypnotherapist. I learned trance work, breath work, various versions of trance work, psychodramas, all kinds of things that support remembering the truth, right? It's a really lovely partner with Science of Mind in that it supports that sort of inner child work, like remembering what it is that you were believing before you started to believe something that's not true. Like, who were you before you took on that false belief, right? And kind of getting back to that. So it's coming at it from another side.
Yeah. Are you kind of a person who, like, because I'm like this, when I could really understand the way something works, then it works better on me.
Oh, 100%.
I feel like that because I'm hearing you, like, I was like doing this, but then I became an instructor, and then I was doing this, and then I became a facilitator.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
so it sounds like that.
I know that when I started practitioner training, to go all the way back to Centers for Spiritual Living and taking the classes, and then eventually I've had enough of the prerequisite classes to do practitioner training. It seemed just like a logical next step. And I remember saying, wasn't so much that I wanted to like hang the shingle on the door. It was that I wanted to understand it well enough to be able to explain it to other people. And
you're like, I better become a minister.
That was not, I didn't know that at the time, but it makes sense because if I go back to the high school notion, there was this idea of being a minister.
Yeah, it's like I
circumvented.
Yes, no, I'm learning that, when we follow just those natural inclinations, you end up where the inkling was. And you were like, oh, I did get there. Who knew?
Yes.
Yeah. And so if somebody was just completely brand new to this kind of new thought teaching, and the healing and the expanding it could do for your mind and opening you up and everything. What would you like suggest how someone might approach that, or if you were to be coaching them, what are some of the practices that you would take them through, or how you would, help them to open up?
Well, it's hard to just say something like that hypothetically, right? Like, I like working with real situations. So can we take an example of something?
Well, are you talking about me?
I don't know, maybe.
Am I the guinea pig?
Well, or we could say, you could be asking for a friend. I know you do that sometimes.
Yes, I asked for a friend. I did that last time. You charged me $35.
That's all. Wow, you got a deal.
I did get a deal. Yeah. Well, I can't think of anything right now specifically, but
well, let me have you rephrase the question.
Okay.
Because maybe I'm just making it harder than it is. If I heard you were asking, where would I start with someone?
Yeah, where would you guide them to, like, hey,
Well, I mean, some of the foundational concepts of science of mind are very, very helpful. And that is, one, that God is all there is. Mm-hmm. So everything is part of God. Mm-hmm. So, this isn't good or bad. Right. It just is. Mm-hmm. And the sort of accepting things as they are is a really helpful place to start. Yeah. And believing that we are all one, because if God is all there is, we are of it, and it operates through us. And so learning that is really a game changer. Mm-hmm. And the idea that our consciousness creates. So if we are an emanation of the divine, or an expression of the divine, and it can only express through us to the degree that we're available for it, the more that we open ourselves, the more aware we are of this concept, and the more we open and avail ourselves to these truths, the greater good we can experience in our life. Yeah. So those are some of the fundamentals that I find really helpful. Yeah. I know, we've talked in the past about the 4 aspects of consciousness. Mm-hmm. I work a lot with that, just in helping people understand where they are in consciousness, because that as me is divine identity, and that is that recognizing that we are one. Yeah. So I use those 4 aspects of consciousness quite a bit. Mm-hmm. I work with the drama triangle a lot. Mm-hmm. I've been practicing and learning nonviolent communication tools, which goes a step behind the limiting beliefs, and we learn what were the unmet needs. What was the unmet need that was driving us to develop this belief and this behavior in the beginning?
So do you think that a lot of our coping strategies are based off of unmet needs? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the ideas in nonviolent communication, and I'm a newer student of this, but I'm really enjoying it. And we're actually have created a practice group, a few of us, once a month. And anybody who's hearing this, you are welcome to participate. We come together and practice on the second Wednesdays of the month at Cityside. And one of the concepts is that, we have universal needs, and there's this list, a long list of universal needs, which I do not have memorized, but lots of different needs. And they're universal. Just like we have universal spiritual principles, there are universal needs. And when our needs are not met, we develop those coping strategies for how we think we're going to, deal with not having that need met. Maybe we think we're going to get it met this way, or we just meet some other need to kind of compensate for that one not being met. Yeah. But we develop strategies for how to navigate with those unmet needs. And what happens in relationship is that we don't all have the same strategies for how to get our needs met. Right. So conflict in relationship occurs when we don't like the strategies that someone else is using to get their needs met.
I love that. I mean, that is like such
It's real helpful.
Simplified.
Real helpful.
Yeah, a very simplified version of
Mm-hmm.
something that could be a very complex issue.
It is.
Which is, I have a coping strategy that doesn't match your coping strategy, and I don't like your coping strategy, so
Right.
now I have a problem.
Right.
That's so interesting.
But how simple it is when you can see it as that.
Right.
When you can just go, oh, you're just trying to get that need met.
Right.
And I'm just trying to get this need
Right.
met. So now maybe we can actually
Yeah.
have a different experience.
It feels like an indirect or direct way of having compassion for another person and yourself.
Yeah, that in fact we call the practice circle practicing compassionate communication in relationship.
Yeah. And now, do you facilitate this like with one-on-one, or do you?
No, it's a circle, and there are 4 of us doing it. Yeah. There's a man, Earl Wagner, who is in the process of becoming a licensed facilitator of nonviolent communication.
Okay.
And then Jonathan Hoffman and Abby Sutkiss, who are dear friends of mine.
Yes,
and
yes.
The 4 of us are practicing together, and we've opened it for public to come practice with us.
That's awesome. So people can just come to Cityside CSL in the Ravenswood neighborhood of Chicago every
second Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
and come practice. We're doing empathy practices. We learn, we make empathy guesses, and you learn more about those unmet needs and how you feel when a need is met and how you feel when it's unmet, and you practice empathy guessing. So it just sort of teaches us empathy.
What's empathy guessing?
So, for example, if you told me a challenge you were having, I might say, are you needing more love? Are you needing to be understood? Are you needing to be seen? Those are empathy guesses.
Right.
And there's a list of words and needs and how you feel when the needs are met and how you feel when they're unmet. And you literally practice with this list of making guesses, but you're tuning into the person and sort of feeling into what you think they might be needing. And there's no right or wrong. If they say, no, that's not really what I'm feeling, then they get more related to what it is they are feeling.
Right. Then they have to think about it.
The whole process really helps the individual who's sharing to become more related to themselves and to get more dialed into what they do need.
Right.
And to be able to express that more clearly.
Yeah, because isn't that so helpful?
Yeah.
When we're more self-aware. I
Yep.
mean, it helps us to be able to, I think, communicate our flaws to others. Like, I'm so sorry, I'm really feeling like this, and
Well, and instead of thinking, oh, it was this person I was in relationship with, it was his fault that he wasn't doing this, that, or the other. Instead, I can begin to understand, oh, I'm having a need to feel connected, or I have a need to be heard, and I have a need for, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
And I can take responsibility for having that need met rather than, again, outsourcing it and trying to get it by someone else.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. Self-aware, making that connection, communicating what is happening for you. And it sounds like kind of prompting someone else if you're having a difficulty or struggle or conflict to check in.
Yeah. And to learn how to practice empathy with others. So, not to try to fix it.
Yeah.
But just to say, are you needing to feel heard? Or did I hear you say that you were, feeling anxious?
Yeah.
And sort of mirroring back and also making empathy guesses and how that expands the way we can be in relationship to one another.
Yeah. It is, I think, such an incredible growing tool spiritually to, when someone doesn't meet your need, to really, I mean, sometimes I have my feelings and I'm like, oops, I had feelings about that.
And there's nothing
And
wrong with
there's
that.
nothing wrong with that, yeah, but I'm saying like, and maybe I was like, "Rah," whatever. I have feelings and I don't like it. I don't like what you're doing. But, then I have been using that practice of, wait a minute, what am I expecting this person to do for me? And I think it does really help you be able to have more empathy for yourself and the other person when you're realizing that, hey, I'm having like an expectation of this person that because it didn't get met, and now I'm having a problem about it.
Right. You're having the awareness that it's something that's going on within you.
Right. Exactly.
And you're just sort of putting it on them.
Correct.
Exactly. And
Yes.
that's another version of sort of outsourcing, like you're
Yes.
expecting someone else to do something
Right.
for you. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that this empathy practice and learning unmet needs and so forth has, is a great companion to some of the other spiritual work that I practice, because we're really looking at how do we begin to love and accept ourselves and bring compassion to ourselves and understand ourselves and forgive ourselves and all of the things that are needing to be addressed in here. And when we do that, when we bring that to ourselves, we suddenly have the capacity to hold that for other people.
Yes.
And we are now able to see someone else and go, oh, I see they're just feeling like that, because we've acknowledged it within ourselves. It's easier to acknowledge it within someone else.
And at least, if you don't know what's happening with them or you can't figure it out, at least you cannot hold it against them.
Yeah, I'm not saying we have to be mind readers.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying,
but to even just go, oh, they're just having their own growth experience. This is just their thing.
Yeah.
I don't need to try to take it on.
Right, and make it personal. And that is like such a huge lifelong.
Yeah, not taking it personally.
Not taking it personally.
A big deal.
Yeah, and it's like the culture that we grow up in. It is very, like you were saying, it is very, we're taught that this person is supposed to do this for me. This person is supposed to do that for me. And those attachments, especially the ones that are from our youth, those are really hard to break. To stop expecting this person to not meet this need.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we have to undo before we can do something different.
Yeah.
Or before we can experience things differently.
Yeah.
We kind of have to unravel the old patterns.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're just, like you said, not only are they inground in you when you're in your family, it's like everybody's doing it too.
Yeah, and everybody has their own version of it. And sometimes we think everybody's doing the same thing I am, and they're not.
Right, true.
And they've seen it differently.
Yeah.
And then it's really I was going to just say the name of your show.
Spiritual Shitshow?
Yes, I was going to. Then it's really a shit show.
Yeah. So is there anything that you would like to share with listeners about ways that they could start their spiritual journey or look into how they can spiritually grow and heal and start the path?
Well, it's such an individual journey. The first key is just starting where you are. And I know that sounds obvious. You can't really start anywhere else, but I think often we feel like we're supposed to be somewhere else before we can do this thing, right? So starting where you are, it depends, if you want community, find a community like Cityside in Chicago or other centers for spiritual living. There's other organizations. Find people who can hold your new learning with you. Sometimes it's difficult if we're learning something new and we try to share it with someone who's not there yet,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they, they can squish it down,
Yeah.
right? So having people that you can share with is really helpful. That's why I said, if you like community, find a community.
Huge.
Take classes, read books, listen to Suzanne's podcast.
That's right. Spiritual Shitshow.
There's just so many ways,
Yeah.
and there's so many things in the world now with all of the, Hay House and Sounds True,
Yeah.
and everybody has access to all of this material.
Right. Yeah. Which is incredible.
It is really incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And people can find you at
Linda@lindajackson.com. That's my email address, and you can find my website at lindajackson.com.
And on there, you will find your counseling offerings.
Yes, all the different ways that you can work with me. And you can either email me directly, or you can go to the website and there's a form. And I do complimentary phone calls to see if it feels like a good fit.
Okay. So for spiritual counseling, for your to
I just wanted to see where you were going to go with
yeah.
that. I mean,
So-
I wanted to know how much you did your homework.
Facilitating
like a boom, boom,
the
boom.
workshops.
Yeah,
share
so
all the
whether
things
it's
you offer.
teaching, speaking, facilitating a workshop, or doing one-on-one sessions, it's really a matter of finding out what makes sense to you, what feels right for you, what is a good fit. But I really encourage people, if you haven't ever done a spiritual practitioner session, or a session with someone like me, or had a good therapist, like all of those things are so helpful in looking at how we're being,
Yes.
and being transformed so that we can have a different experience.
Yeah. Let me say, as someone who has experienced spiritual counseling, when you're really wavering and you're really struggling, to speak with someone who's holding the high watch and who can hold space for you, and in a non-judgmental way, which is what my experience has been in New Thought. Spiritual counseling is not judging my situation, not judging what I'm doing, but when I lose my footing, holding that high watch, this is what's true. This is what we believe. This is what.
And it is really
you.
that pointing you back to love.
Yeah.
Right? If everything is either love or a call for love, the job for me is to just help you remember that truth for yourself. Yeah. And I really believe it's not like, oh, I have some magical potion that I'm going to give you. It's my job is just to know the truth of who you are, to know that you are already whole and complete, and that whatever you're experiencing is just what you're experiencing. It's I don't identify you with your problem. Right. My job is to know that you are already whole, and just to help you find that within yourself.
Amazing. Hey, would you end us with an affirmative prayer?
Sure. Do you have a particular prayer request?
Can we pray for people to experience some more peace in the world right now?
In the world?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. So I just invite you to turn your attention inward, and I always like to take a nice breath. And just centering here within, in what I like to think of as my inner sanctuary. And remembering that there is only one thing happening, and that is the life of God. The life of love, peace, the power, the abundance. All that God is right there within me, that I am the inlet and the outlet for it. And I know that this is the truth for everyone. Each of us is an individual expression of the divine. We are each one with all that God is. We are one with that power, that presence, that peace, that unconditional love. It is the truth of who we are. And from that place, I just speak a blessing over this time where we are, appearing to be in conflict or struggle, or seeing things in the world that may not be how we want them. And I just affirm that this is just the experience that is pointing us back to love. We are just being invited back to the truth that is that peace, that is that love. And I affirm that as we open ourselves to that love and to that peace, as we remember this as the truth of who we are, that we become these open channels for it, that we become the inlet and the outlet for the expression of love and peace, that we allow love and peace to move through us and express into our experience, to be love and peace in every conversation, to bring love and peace to every aspect of our life, to our relationships, to our work, to our conversations, that we bring the love and the peace, that we are the love and the peace. And that as we bring that love and peace and we walk in love and peace, we ripple that out into the world. The world is transformed by the love and peace that we bring. It grows, it expands, and it is like an exponential experience of more and more love, more and more peace, more and more good moving through the universe. And I just affirm that as we say yes to this, and as we deepen in this, and as we expand love and peace into the world, that more people are impacted by it. And they're like, I want what she's having. And they just say yes to more and more love and more peace in their lives. And one by one, the world is transformed into a more loving and peaceful place. And I'm so grateful for the fulfillment of this prayer. I'm so grateful for that love and peace expanding in, as, and through each of us. I'm so grateful for the transformation of the world into this loving, peaceful place. And I'm so grateful for the fulfillment of this prayer. I release it into the law, knowing it is so. I call it good. And so it is.
So it is. Amen.
Woot, woot.
Woo! Thank you, Linda Jackson,
Thank you.
for being on the Spiritual Shitshow podcast. I just adore you.
I adore you, and I'm so happy to be here in person with you.
Yay!
Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Cut.
Well, that's a wrap on my wonderful in-person convo with the lovely and talented Rev Linda Jackson. I hope you enjoyed hearing her story, insight, and wisdom as much as I have. Thanks to Rev Linda for joining me on this shit show. As always, this has been the Spiritual Shitshow podcast. My name is Suzanne Sole. I would like to thank all you Barkley ass motherfuckers for listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Roll it, you stunning delight, you.